Welcome to Sabbath Session podcast. Welcome back, Agata. How we doing?
Great. A little bit tired because we had university nationals over the weekend happening, and I handled a few people. Came back home pretty late. Didn't get a lot of sleep, but that was
So,
pretty great.
since you said university national, so that means like
Yeah.
Poland is part of that. Is it FISU?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic! It's great because it's almost like that grassroots of powerlifting, isn't it? You
Yeah.
know, because with us in the UK, right, when our university nationals happen, they are the biggest nationals ever.
Yeah. We
You
had
know,
like almost 600 lifters competing.
Man, that's mad. That is wild. Because this is the exact same thing we have in the UK. Our university national, I remember on top of my head, they used to go for like 5 days.
So, so ours happened over 2 days, but we have 5 platforms.
Jesus Christ. To me, what it makes me so happy, and at the same time, it's almost like it's enjoyable to see where powerlifting is going. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying Poland is not a powerhouse when it comes to powerlifting, but if you see the history of Poland in powerlifting, it's almost like Poland was here, right, with the equipped, of course, and almost now, when you look at the population coming from Poland in powerlifting, has decreased massively. Do you know what I mean? So to hear like 600 people for the university championship, that's really, really, really encouraging. You know,
Yeah.
would you say, is that all down to you?
I mean, I've probably helped a little bit, but with university nationals, it's like not everyone who competes there is actually a powerlifter, but people just come because it can help them get a higher scholarship and stuff like that. So some of them aren't really powerlifters.
But still, it's because they're not powerlifters, but they're practicing the movement of powerlifting. You know, to me, that's good enough. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? To me, that is good enough. You know, I can't ask any more than that. Another question I had is, so you mentioned about, of course, you helped. So are you coaching now?
No, I just help some of my coaches lifters because my coach and his wife were supposed to, well, they were judging and they wanted to do it. So one of them would be a judge for one day and the other for the second day, but they had to both be judges for both days of the competitions. So I just handled some of the lifters from our team and I handled my sister. It was her first full power meet. That was really exciting.
Oh, is that your younger
Yeah,
sister or your older sister?
older sister.
Oh, are we expecting another Agatha coming out from Poland?
Yeah, so she started training for powerlifting in August and she competed as a 52, weighing in just below 51 kilos. She hit a 120 kilo squat, 82 kilo bench, and 155 kilo deadlift. So that was a 357 kilo total as a 52. And yeah, she placed second in her weight class and fifth overall. So
Is
yes,
this her first powerlifting meet?
yes,
Hold on.
isn't that exciting?
Her first powerlifting meet, what was the total there? Say that again?
357 kilos at 52.
Oh my God. So, hold on. Oh, see, I'm speechless. That is insane. That's
Yeah,
crazy. I wish your sister was in the same house with you. I would have her next to you right now. Do you know what I mean? This is
yeah.
crazy. Oh my God. Is this just like the Sitko jeans or what?
Looks like it. It
I
looks
mean,
like it, but yeah,
wow, this is incredible. Our first powerlifting meet, 355 kilos total in our first powerlifting meet. And then bear in mind the 52s, the 52s, bar EV, that is just a different level, without 480 or whatever, bar EV, 450 kilo can get you second at world,
Yeah.
right? And your sister's hitting 355 in the first powerlifting. Me, we I was about to say which is 100 kilo less, but it's not. It's 95 kilo. Do you know what I mean? Oh, mate. I mean, anyone who's listening, forgive me, but I'm going on the run there because this is just incredible. You know what I mean? You see these numbers, people hitting it after maybe 3, 4 years of lifting. First meet, 355. So would she carry on, or is it something that she just did for fun and she's not gonna carry on?
No, she's loving powerlifting, and she's gonna start doing 6 SBDs from now on. So she's really into
6
it.
days SPDs.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the Agata Sitko jeans has striped again. Oh my Lord. So you guys just like these, you guys, you and your sister, you just want to take over powerlifting right now, isn't it? Because especially what you've done is like you cemented your legacy in terms of like everything you've achieved. To me, every time I talk about you to people, I always say, look, that girl has achieved pretty much what probably no one will ever be able to achieve. The rest that comes is just bonus. To me, that's how I see it. Do you know what I mean? You win another world title, you win world games, or you win another Sheffield. To me, that's just bonus. You become like because you're such an amazing powerlifter, such an amazing athlete. Every time you stepped on a platform, it's almost like it's become a norm. That's how you feel yourself as well.
Hmm. I mean, I feel like people just, due to recency bias, have a weird idea about me because I haven't been on this level for that long. It literally started in 2024, so it's been like a year. Because before that, in 2023, I placed last at Sheffield, I placed second at Worlds, I placed second at Girl Power. So it hasn't really been that long. So to me, it it doesn't feel, I don't take it for granted.
That's the word. That's the word right there. A lot of people do intend to take this sport for granted. It's because they know they can lower the bar and squat and bench and deadlift. They think like, oh yeah. Because there's one. What's your thought about this conception? People thinking, oh yeah, this year I've added 50 kilos in my total. Next year I'm gonna add 60, 70 kilos. What do you think about that? Because a lot of powerlifters, that's why they live lives nowadays. It's almost like, yeah, have you seen my total meet to me? I always add 60, 40 kilo every 6 months. You know,
Hmm.
is that the mentality you have yourself as well? Or is it more about being a more conservative in terms of longevity?
I don't really think that much about stuff like that. I just want to train and see where it takes me. And with progress, it's always so weird. It's like so hard to predict because sometimes you add 30 kilos to your total in like 2 months, and then for 6 months you don't progress at all. So it's like I don't like to attach myself to certain numbers because I know it's impossible to predict what I will hit at a certain meet.
Yeah, I mean, with Sheffield, right? Because I was via Sheffield, we had a word before Sheffield, we had a word before after Sheffield that happened. Of course, you were not happy with your performance, even
Yeah.
though all of us think that performance was alien, but you were not happy. Because one thing I always say to people, as a lifter, like for me personally, if you ask me, what's your best powerlifting meet? I always say to people, Croatia 2023. No, sorry, Croatia 2024. People always go like, what the fuck are you talking about? You won world in 2024. You had a moment. How can that not be your best powerlifting meet? I was like, look, you do not understand what it means to me. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
Croatia, I had a goal and I hit that goal. In
Yeah.
Lithuania, I didn't have a goal. In Lithuania, I just went to Lithuania saying, look, I'm going to do my best, as you said, and see where it takes me. Fortunately, it took me to a world title. But that doesn't mean that's my best me because I went there without no goals. But in Croatia, I had a goal that I hit, and I hit the goal. Do you know what I mean? So for you, in Sheffield, of course, you had a goal that you didn't hit, and it came out to be disappointed on that, right? I just wanted to touch down in terms of like, that goal because I'm not going to do a Sheffield recap. In terms of that goal, so how did you deal with the fact that you won Sheffield for the second time, but didn't hit your goal? You're a little bit disappointed, but you went back to training. How did you deal with that?
I don't I just I don't know, just went back to training and started thinking about the next meet already. Because, like, disappointment can motivate you because you think to yourself, okay, I wanted to hit this, I didn't. What do I have to do to get there? So, like, it just gave me motivation to do better in training and outside of training.
But you didn't. It didn't. Was it? Did that goal of yours from Sheffield? Did it linger in your head? Like every time you're going to training, you're thinking about it. I need to do this because I missed out. Next time I'm not missing. Did that actually lived into your brain rent free for quite a while, or is it
Yeah,
something like you let go?
it still happens when I go for a heavy lift. I think to myself, okay, remember how you felt going for that third deadlift? Remember how you felt going off the platform? I don't want to feel that ever again. You have to like get this set, give it your all. So still think about that.
I'm going to ask this question. I'll ask you a typical question that people, because these podcasts and especially, I mean, people like yourself, we get on the platform when we lift. It's not just our competitors that are watching, but we have got people out there that are watching, people that know this, and someone like yourself, you have inspired a lot around the world, which is a fact. So, do you think that is the mentality to take forward for any other lifter out there, young lifter listening, or that is just the mentality of Agata? Almost like, do you know what? Don't do as I say. Just copy what I do. Do you know what I mean? When I'm in silent, the way I lift, rather than listening to what I'm saying.
Mhm. Feel like it's a very it depends on the person because some people might get so like caught up in the disappointment and just it can demotivate them because they just focus so much on how they lost, but for others it might be motivating. So yeah, it depends on how it makes you feel, because if it's gonna make you feel like shit and you're gonna be like, what's the point of doing this if I can't even get the goals that I want, you know so yeah, if
You
you
know,
feel like it might help you, then go for it.
I mean, if I rewind back a little bit earlier, you talk about, of course, helping your coach and um, at the university championship. I mean, you have spoken in the past where you said, I just want to focus on the lifting. I don't want to be focused on the coaching now. Maybe coaching will come in later on, which is understandable, right? Because you are the best powerlifter on the planet. And sometimes, because if you're doing so well like that, you don't want to include your life with other things because you become almost like destructive and then again get you away from that big goal that you have. Um, if I may ask, apart from helping in meet days and helping your team, as you said, what other things that you do to give back to this sport that have given so much to you?
Hmm. I have in the past done a lot of spotting and loading at meets, but like I don't really nowadays it's hard for me to fit that with my training schedule because I lift every day. So if I was to go to a meet and spot and load for 5 days, that would mean I would most likely miss 5 sessions. So I don't really have that much time to do that anymore. But yeah, I always try to help handle lifters at meets, and yeah, that's
I think doing these podcasts as well is more than enough for you giving back for people listening to you, your story, and your experience about the sports. Someone out there
yeah.
is being inspired. Do you know what I mean?
I always also try to be nice to people and like, give them time when they come up to me to ask for a photo, to talk, even though I have struggled with social anxiety a lot in the past and it's a little bit stressful to me still, but I always try to just like give them time, give them some good energy and motivate them and maybe inspire.
Sometimes, like, I always say this: social anxiety, like we all, like some of us, do go through that deep down. Even though people see you a little bit of confidence around people, but people don't see what's happening inside you. I'm crying inside. I'm literally saying to myself, "Get me out of here." Do you know what I mean? Please, But it's a great thing. Sometimes, like that little second, someone asks for a picture or someone just have a conversation with you. You don't know how much difference you will make in that person's life. And me, I always encourage people. Our sport is a very small sport. The people that are considered like superstar like yourself, if someone stop you for a picture, give people time. Do you know what I mean? It's not gonna hurt your SPD, but for you to talk to someone for 30 seconds. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because some people have got that mentality where, oh, I mean, especially like look when we end up at Sheffield this year, right? You know, at Sheffield, we were treated like a superstar. You know what I mean? We're on the street walking, people want pictures, people want conversation. But there are other lifters that turn up to Sheffield. It's all about, oh, yeah, I don't like talking to people before I lift. I don't like socializing with other people. I'm locked in. Mate, come on. It's just lifting still. Do you know what I mean? You know, Agata is winning 35,000, 40,000 pounds. You're not going to do that. So just enjoy the process. Do you know what I mean? Just enjoy the process. So again, to say like, again, to me, just giving people that time is more important than anything else. You know, sometimes we don't realize the impact you're making in people's life. Do you know what I mean? So for instance, like for me, I've got people, some people sending me their international singlet, right? It's because there's so many of me, an international me. I sat there with them. We had a long conversation. They just went home because, you know what, I had to send you my singlet. I know you. I don't want to swap, but just have it. Do you know what I mean? It's just because of the time you've given people. You don't know how much that has actually the difference has made. So I always encourage people to give people time. I mean, going back to giving back to the sport, yeah. And I know recently you did silent worker, right? Now let's not talk. Let's not start talking about the platform. You did silent worker. You did a madness. As I said to you, like you when you're on the platform, people that watch you, it become almost an expectation. Oh yeah, I got the heat 700. Oh yeah, that's fine. That's Agatha. You know what I mean? It's almost like no people. It's not like people don't get impressed. People still impressed by what you're doing, but it's because you are so good, you become almost the expected. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how did you feel leading to that silent worker, me? Was it that redemption that you wanted from Sheffield?
Not really. That came as a big shock to me that I hit 6:35 because we didn't really prep for this meet. Going in, I thought up until the like 2 days out, even up to the midday, that I would just like hit some RPA 8 singles, just go easy, just have fun. But we started warming up for squats, and in my head, I was like, okay, if squats feel good, then maybe we should try going for a squat PR. And I asked Pavel, and he was like, okay. And I did end up hitting to 12.5 on squats, which was a PR. So we were just like, okay, who sent it? Let's just go for PRs on each lift. And yeah, I didn't really pick for that meet or anything. I just trained like I would normally do up until 2 days out. I think I hit my normal secondary SBD on Wednesday with like accessories, everything, and then we just did 2 lighter days and into the meet.
You know, sometimes that's what works. Sometimes you don't necessarily have to push. Do
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I mean, for me, leading to again Lithuania, that's the experience I have. I didn't push, and the result was, and then leading to Sheffield, I pushed so hard. Well, I mean, so hard I can't even talk about it on it because I'm embarrassed myself for what I told at Sheffield in terms of my push and that training. So, but the result sometimes doing less is more rather than more and more. So, my question on that is, would you say that silent work on me was the best meet you've done this year?
yeah. I was definitely much happier than with my Sheffield performance.
See, that's the thing. Anyone who ask, they will look at you thinking, "You won Sheffield, you won 40,000 pound or 44 or something, whatever." Do you know what I mean? How the hell would you saying like turning to South of France is more important than getting the record Sheffield City in England? Do you know what I mean? So to me, it's all about goals, isn't it? Again, as I said in the beginning, like goals is like you fulfill your goals in silent work. About Sheffield, you didn't. That's why it turned out to be the best. I mean, doing that, me talk still, doing that silent work on me, and there's a news that broadcast saying your coach breached the Article 14. He will be banned and would, the amount of DMs I got from people asking me if Agatha will be banned. There's no point of even me talking to you about it. I literally picked up my phone. I was like, can I just WhatsApp her and tell her, listen, give me a little bit of briefing here because I don't know what to say to these people. But I said to myself, you know what? I don't want even waste your time because when I look about it, I was like, look, Silent worker is the RPF me, you know what I mean? And all these Article 14 doesn't work. But I just want you to clarify to anyone who's listening what exactly happened there.
Let me just Google one word real quick. So basically, yeah, me and my coach, we were, how do I say this?
You know, you can say in Polish, people translate. Even me, I'll try and translate that.
I'll just ask ChatGPT real quick.
Brilliant.
Give me a moment.
Let's see what AI got to do for Agatha. Let's see. Let's see if AI is as good as people are saying it is. Almost there. There's Chat GPT in Poland, right?
Yeah, now for my internet.
So basically, like,
But basically, the problem was that this was a meet that's not in the IPF or National Federation's calendar. So we should have sent an email asking for permission from our national federation to do this meet. And that was the problem. So
so
we've been reported to the disciplinary committee and we had to go there and like explain ourselves and yeah.
so is it sorted?
Yep.
So, so in Poland, if you're going, let's say, for instance, right, because the future, this is what I'm trying to do. If I organize a big powerlifting meet in the UK, right, you and I are friends, I invite you to come and do it, you have to ask for permission. You can't come in as a guest.
Yeah.
Wow. So it has to be a national meet or IPF approved meet for you not to
It,
ask for permission.
it has to be in the IPF's calendar
All
or
right.
National Federation's calendar. If it's outside of
Okay.
that, then we have to ask for permission.
So is Girls Power on IPF calendar?
Yeah.
All right, all right, all right. That makes sense. There. Because again, like for him or you to be banned because of that, to me, I was just like, how does that even make sense? Do you know what I mean? Because at one point when I saw the news came out, the article, I thought maybe he went to Siberia or one of those federation where what's his name? Christoph. Is it Christoph? His name, isn't it? Christoph,
So
I mean, you say it better than me. I can't even say it. One of those federations that Christoph lifted. I thought your coach wanted to handle there. That's oh my god, he's gonna get banned if he went to a different federation. But it wasn't. You know
yeah.
what I mean? So basically, again, they're just trying to impede the best lifter that ever came out, of Poland. You know, and because like people start asking me like, is Agata's gonna be in Germany? Is Agata's gonna be in what World Games? I was like, she will be there. She will be there. Agata can't miss Germany. You know what I mean? Talking about Germany, how's the prep going for Germany? I know it took long for me to get to prep from Germany, but yeah, how is it going?
Bench is absolute dog shit. Deadlift's kind of hanging there, but I've kind of forgot how to deadlift recently, and it's feeling strong, but mm, technique isn't perfect, so I kind of don't know how to set up and how to pull. So we're trying to figure this out. Squats are going absolutely phenomenal, which is really surprising because squat has always been my worst lift, hardest to progress at, worst technically, and now it feels like it's the only lift that's going well. So yeah, I'm I'm just here for it.
I mean, I'm so glad to hear that from you because I'm looking at social media. All I'm seeing people blowing their social media. Oh, my prep is going world class. Look at this. Look at that. I'm lifting 500 kilos a week. Do you know what I mean? And I'm looking at my training. I'm thinking, why are the only benches going well? What kind of squat? Do you know what I mean? When I kind of squat, the funny thing is like I know sometimes like people see you squatting like I mean, reps and reps and reps and reps. Don't get me wrong, this prep, I've hit some PR reps and
Yeah,
sets on the squat. But at the same time, as a lifter, there's something in me I'm thinking, it's not there yet. Do you know what I mean? You know that click when you're just thinking like,
yeah.
it's not there yet. Do you know what I mean? Something's
It's
missing.
yeah, it's hard for me to say how prep is going because I'm not really doing singles at the moment. I'm just doing reps, and it's
Thank you.
like I have no idea where my strength is actually at, right? Yeah, you're hitting PRs for reps, but
I mean,
yeah,
thank you, thank you. I was talking to my coach Christian today about this, Rob. I was saying to him like, I don't know where my deadlift is. He said to me, "What do you mean you don't know where your deadlift is? You're hitting like threes and twos and fours. You know, you're posing like I'm posing like 312, 315. Do you know what I mean? All of that poses and 320s and that." But I said, "Yeah, but I haven't done singles, so I don't know where they are." Do you
yeah,
know what I mean? I don't know where they are. I said the heaviest singles I've done so far, the heaviest single I've done so far is 302 kilos long pose on the deadlift. That's the only single I've done,
yeah.
you know. But at the same time, I'm doing 302 for set of fours, set of five, set of six on the deadlift. But I'm 4 weeks now out, and I'm thinking, I don't know where my deadlift is. Do you know what I mean? But other meets that I prepared before, when I'm 4 weeks out, I almost have a sign, almost understand where that deadlift is. But to me, again, as I said, like it's not about me, it's about you. But I don't know where my deadlift is. My squats,
Me neither.
my squats, let not even talk about it. You know. But fun enough, me and you is different. Your squats is blowing, my bench is blowing. You know.
My bench is currently on vacation,
I
probably
mean,
due to the cat, so
I mean,
I've just accepted my fate.
I mean, look, Agata, whether you like it or not, you're a 160 plus bencher. Even if your bench is on vacation, on that day of the lifting, your bench come back quickly. Even if you bench 150, still good enough. Me, if my bench goes on vacation, I might just go and get my SPD media package and go home. Do you know what I mean? So again, are we? What's the expectation here for Germany? Is it just like okay, go and win, get to the World Games, win, and go Sheffield again and win?
Yep, pretty much. To me, Worlds this year is just like I don't know. I'm not really that excited about it. I'm more mentally prepping for World Games, not because I want to go easy on one meet or another, but because I just have a goal for the World Games, and I don't really have a goal for Worlds outside of just winning. So it's just
So,
like,
would you break the world record in Germany at 69?
yeah, I think I will. I mean,
So,
if I'm strong enough, we'll see.
so you're not excited about it, but I'm gonna break the world record of 69 and just win and we'll go home.
To be honest, completely honest, I've broken world records so many times that it doesn't excite me anymore. Unless I hit a squat world record, that would be exciting.
Anyone who's listening, take that. Take that. Who's on this planet can come up with a statement like that? Do you know what I mean? Who can come up with a statement like that? Do you know what I mean? Oh my lord, that would be the caption anyway. The title. I've broken so many world records, but it don't excite me anymore. So what excites you then? What is the excitement? Because world records are not excited anymore to you. But what does excite you?
That's a good question. Hard to say, but yeah, I'm just trying to set goals for myself. So like for the World Games, it's hitting 10 times body weight. I have no idea if that's even possible, but that's what I'm going for. That's exciting to me. Feels like a goal, like something I can go towards, and then yeah, challenging
So
Amanda
basically,
will be the next one.
so you want to be the first ever woman in classic to total 10 times body weight
Yeah,
in Chengdu.
yes.
My God. So as a 63 or as a 69?
I can't do World Games as a 63.
Oh,
I
you
have
can
to be
only do.
69.
Oh, and it can only be 69 or 76. Am I right?
Yep. But the goal is to cut down to around 64 kilos. and go for 640 kilo total. That's the plan.
Holy. What's your body weight now, if you don't mind saying?
A low 67.
So you're low
Where,
67. So we're going to Germany, being a 69 still, but a light 69.
yeah,
So you can keep that momentum going for the World Games.
yep.
Wow, that's incredible. That is incredible. So the other question I'll ask is again because you have achieved so much, right, in powerlifting, and you set your goals for these big goals going forward and all of that stuff. So, do you get enough flowers around powerlifters, or even in Poland itself? Do you think you get enough flowers,
So yeah,
or
yeah.
do you think some people are still held highly compared to yourself? Because I listen to podcasts, I see social media. I'm not the guy that will tell you like I'm no in touch with powerlifting. No, I am in touch with powerlifting because I love the sport I do, and I'm a podcaster, I'm a lifter, I go a social media page. I consume powerlifting content. Do you know what I mean? You know, so I see comment across the board in terms of people and all of that. Sometimes people don't realize the achievement you've done, but other people are still regarded or held highly of you. So how does that come across when that comes into your ears or when you see things like that?
I don't really notice that a lot. Usually, when I see comments about myself, they do say that I do crazy stuff and all of that. And if I see a comment like the ones you've mentioned, then I just think to myself, oh, whatever. Or, oh, I'll show them. I don't
So
really care that
so that's your fuel. That's almost
much.
like that's almost you talking shit about me. 2 times Sheffield winner. And I'm about to make it 3 P's. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, so I mean, of course, like me and you spoke. If you don't mind me saying, of course, the news is out there. People, it's not speculation. You said it yourself. Sheffield next year, you will turn up as a 63, right? This is why at the World Games you want to keep it so low, body weight low, and get to Sheffield next year. There's two
No,
Sheffield next year.
I was going to do Euro Muscle Show as a 63 this year, but I've recently got news that that IPF won't be at Euro Muscle Show this year, so I won't be able to do a meet at 63 because next year I'm going 84.
But if you won't be able to do a meet at 63, you can still do Sheffield at 63.
No, because I'll be much heavier because I want to do Worlds next year as an 84, and that's something
So,
that I'm not gonna change.
so basically, you're not doing Sheffield as a 63.
No,
That's another
unfortunately
bombshell.
not.
That's another hammer dropped because the whole world expecting you to turn up at Sheffield as a 63. Do you know what I mean?
That
So,
doesn't fit in my timeline, unfortunately.
all right, because there's two Sheffield, one in January, one at the end of the year,
Yeah,
right? So the one in January, what body weight would you be?
we'll see. I mean, I'll probably be a 76. I don't know what my body weight will be because I don't know how much I'll be able to add in that time. But generally the goal is to get to 84 for Worlds. So I guess I'll be at around 76 kilos at Sheffield.
So that's World 2026. That's when you're gonna go up against Amanda.
Yeah,
So how you preparing yourself mentally and physically for it? Because the reality is like me and you, we're lifters, right? We respect each other as a competitor because we know what going on that platform. Do you know what I mean? We know what's up because people can sit here and talk about numbers, talk about records, talk about people's strength. But the reality of things, when they say bar is loaded, the only person that understand what it means is the lifter that are approaching that bar. Do you know what I mean? That's what I mean. Like personally, I look at people, I praise people what they do. I'm inspired of what people do on that platform. But when anybody that don't step on the platform, even coaches, don't get me wrong, some of the coaches, they're good with stats, right? Look, you and I, we have a relationship with Kedrick. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
And of course, I have good friends like my good friend, the Dr. Eric Helms. I love the stats. I love Rory's stats. But sometimes, even when people come with stats to me, If you don't step on that platform and understand what it takes to be on the Sheffield platform, my friend, keep your start at home. Keep your stats at home because you do not understand what happened when they say bar is loaded. You have got your family in front of you. Do you know what I mean? You have got everybody out there. You have to perform. No one understands the anxiety that comes across. So yeah, to me, it's just me there, like a little bit going on a rant. But talking about going up against Amanda, how are you prepping yourself mentally? Because Amanda, she's arguably the best champion that ever lived. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
And if you said to me today, Amanda is a GOAT in the women's side, there is an argument around it. Do
yeah.
you know what I mean? So how are you prepping for that?
So to me, this feels a little bit too distant to start really thinking about it that much. I mean, yeah, it does come across my mind from time to time, but right now I'm focusing on the World Games and hitting 10 times body weight. So I wouldn't say I'm prepping myself mentally for that yet. I just want to show up as strong as I can, and I think that will be enough to beat her.
I mean, if you total 10 times body, as you say, you probably drop yourself to 65, 64 kilo, right? Which is 640, 650 is
Yeah,
not unreachable for you. Easy. You know, if you get to that number already, that's more than what Amanda's ever done.
yeah, around her breast also.
That's what I'm saying. Well, if you hit 60, 50 or
That's
64
more.
kilo or 65 kilo body weight, and then Amanda is 84, you add another 15 kilo body weight on you. I mean, we're talking about 700 kilos here.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? It's capable. I know, again, as I said, it's easy for us to throw numbers, it's easy for us to go into statistics, but when you're on that platform, the different ball game, especially again, yourself, I'm sure I've spoken to you and we've spoken face to face. People don't realize how much respect you have for Amanda. Do you know what I mean? You're not going up against Amanda because you believe Amanda, she's such a bad lifter, you're gonna crush her at what other people are thinking are there. I mean, the respect between lifters and lifter is immense. Do you know what I mean? Because you know what she's done in powerlifting, right? Until today, people still spoke about Amanda and Daniela Melo's battles in 2019. Almost like that's the battle that revolutionized powerlifting on the women's side. You know what I mean? So you going up against someone like that is almost like that's the moment you want to create.
yeah.
That's the moment you want to create an Agata moment. That's your time because one thing I like about you, you don't shy away from a battle. Do you know what I mean? And do you think you announcing going 2026 against Amanda in a world, do you think this will inspire Amanda as well and push Amanda?
I really hope so because, as you've said, I want to create that battle. I want it to be close, and yeah, I want her to come in as strong as possible and really push me, and for me to be able to push her. So I really hope that's gonna give her that push
So
because
I've
yeah,
go on.
she hasn't really been progressing over the past few years. If you look at her open powerlifting,
I mean, they say iron sharpen iron. Do you know what I mean? And to be fair, if you ask me, does Amanda needed to progress for the past few years? Look, I'm gonna play devil advocate here. I know we all want progress, we all want big numbers. If I was Amanda, I don't need to. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
I'm the best. I'm the best that ever lived in my weight class. Every time I turn up to world, I'm a world champion. So why should I try? What's the incentive? Do you know what I mean? The only thing that has given Amanda the incentive to push is Sheffield. Without Sheffield, she does not need to push. Do you know what I mean? At
yeah,
Sheffield, because of the formula, you need to break a world record by certain percentages and, of course, go for individual world record. That's what the incentive is in terms of being the best among the best that ever lived. Do you know what I mean? That's the incentive. But now, because you are coming in, again, Agatha, I'm not sitting here saying, you know, like what other people thinking, oh, Agatha will just go and wipe the 84. I'm not saying that because I'm a powerlifter, I'm a competitive powerlifter, and I know how meat can go sometimes. Do you know what I mean? But the good thing is because what you have achieved so far and what you're doing gives us that impression and it gives us almost like, again, I'm going to go back to my word, looks at the data thinking, oh, look, she's going to be strong. extra body weight, this is going to be exciting. And personally, as a friend, I'm looking forward to it. I'm literally looking forward to 2026. Even if hopefully I'm going to make it, even if I don't make it to 2026, I'll buy a ticket. I'll buy a ticket and I will be there. Hopefully, I make it because you never know powerlifting. Anyone can come out of nowhere. Do you know what I mean? No one is there
Yeah,
to be eternal. At the moment, like you're causing all these waves. You know, all these we call it drama in powerlifting. You don't know tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? You don't know tomorrow. One of the things you said to me once, you said to me, "Look, I do all these me back to back. Is because I enjoy powerlifting and I don't know how long I'm going to be doing this for. I want to do it for the rest of my life, but you don't know tomorrow.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So, again, you are a full-time powerlifter, right? You're not a coach, you're just a powerlifter. You make your
yeah.
living through powerlifting. I'll ask you just this question. How is it going, that living, just being a lifter?
That's honestly amazing. It's like just wake up, go to the gym, eat, go for a walk, go to sleep. Sometimes go to a powerlifting meet either to compete or to help. It's just really living my dream life, and no,
But
I'm really grateful for it.
would you say, would you say that kind of life, that ways of living, give you the advantage over your competitors?
Pretty sure it does because I have enough time to do everything, to get my steps in, to cook every meal, to get enough sleep every day, to get all my training, and I don't have that much stress outside of training because I don't have a job that stresses me out or like kids. I don't have other responsibilities, so I can just fully focus on lifting and then recovery. I think that gives me a huge advantage.
I agree. But as lifters, right, I always say this to people. Sometimes when some lifters talk about the external, the other people, the other lifters are there, they look at these external thinking, stop being making excuses, man. This is a bunch of excuses. Go and lift, be strong and be better. As lifters, sometimes people like yourself that have a lifestyle like that, the same conversation I have with Joey B is how much do you see other competitors that have got external life like work, family, whatever, do you know what I mean, whatever they're going on in their life, and they still turn up on that platform and perform? How much respect do you guys have for people like that? Because personally, me, when I compete against people like that, the respect I have for my competitors, everyone is immense. Even including people that I know they have the advantage over me of not having the external, but still they're turning up on that platform doing what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? So for me, the question to you is like, how much do you respect those people that go up against you, knowing they have got the externals?
A lot. I have like done training 6 times a week while at the same time being a uni student. So I know what it feels like. You literally have no fucking time to do anything. You just finish your classes, go to train, get home, prep food, go to sleep. You don't have time to, I don't know, don't have time for yourself. You don't even get enough sleep. You just wake up super tired and have to do the same. So I know, I know what it feels like, and I really respect people who do that.
I'm glad. I'm glad it's coming from a lifter like yourself, and of course, people are, because sometimes the top level lifters, sometimes we need to say these things for people to hear. Like, look, mate, I know I'm lucky. Even me, right, I always say to people, look, I know the fact that I have got a training facility where I can work upstairs during my 1 hour break meeting, lunchtime. I go to my garage and squat, go back to my meeting, and I go and bench. I know I'm grateful, and I know I'm lucky. There's no many people are in the same position as I am, and at the same time, I don't have an excuse for me not to perform
Mm,
because all of that is right in front of me. You
yeah.
know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I always say to people. Like, we're grateful in the position that we are, and I think for me personally, that's why I even work even harder because I know I'm lucky. I have those
Yeah.
opportunities. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, of course, I got again, like, I know. you've done Sheffield, you've done Girls Power, and now you are
Silent worker.
welcome, teammate. Welcome. I will just leave it to
Well,
you. Tell the audience that listening to you, how was your experience in Paris as silent worker?
so that meet wasn't in Paris.
Oh
That
yes.
was
Oh, but let's just say you stay in France to keep people like safe, right? Because their cities, people are like, huh, where is that? So yeah. How
that
was
was
you?
honestly that was such a fun weekend. Like training at the silent worker gym. That was honestly one of my favorite powerlifting gyms I've ever been to. Have
I'm
you
so
been
pissed off
there?
because you didn't invite me. You should have told me come.
I think you were visiting Africa
Oh yeah, I
at
was
that
in
time.
fuck. Yes, I was in
I
Congo.
asked you
Yeah.
if you'll be there. So
Yeah, it's true, it's true. You're right.
uh,
You're right. I take it back. So how was it?
yeah, they have a really amazing gym, really amazing atmosphere. We didn't train at the same time as most of them because I usually train earlier in the day, but we've been at the gym while people were training and honestly just really cool. And the meet was just so fun with like they had a pretty big audience. The music was really loud, and with all that Harry Potter theme, me going on that stage and being Voldemort and that big reveal, that was so fun. So I really enjoyed doing that meet. I enjoyed just being in France and spending time with them.
I think right. I always said I've done it twice, right? I've always said this. Sometime where people don't understand the the power the French guys have in powerlifting. When I mean the
Yeah.
French guy, that equipe team, right? You got your Pana, your Leah, your Tiff, Coco. Do you know what I mean? And of course, there's Anissa, all these people that run in the background. Even I love Pana's mom. Do you know what I mean? I love that woman.
Yeah.
She's around, and do you know what I mean? So all and I mean the little dog Baloo, I love Baloo. So do you know what I mean? All of that team, right? When you're around them and you understand why we love these sports. I thought I loved powerlifting. I literally thought I did. Until when I turned up to silent work at the first one. These men made me realize, mate, your love for powerlifting is here. It needs to be here. Right. And I came back. I said to myself, Jesus, if I love powerlifting as much as these guys love powerlifting, I'll probably be one of the best that ever lived in the sport. They give you the incentive. I don't know how if you felt it yourself, because as much as you have achieved this much in the sport, right? But you hang around these people, you're just thinking like, man, I still got a lot to learn and a lot to do. Do you know what I mean? That's personally that's how I felt. And in my second time, of course, we had a meal. Krastev was there, Sonata was there, and Pichu was there. Do you know what I mean? They rented this villa. I was literally sitting there in the pool, I'm smoking my cigar, looking at all of them, thinking, "Oh my world, this is what you call being a superstar." Do you know what I mean? I mean yourself. I know you've had the experience of Sheffield like what 3 times. But the reality is, because silent work is not a bigger event like Sheffield, where the media is right there, everyone are waiting, but it's more personal and close. You feel that the French actually love you. Do you know what I mean? They actually do. You know what I mean? So yeah, would you do that again?
Yeah, sure. But like, I'm excited. I would love to go to the summer edition because I think it's a bit bigger than the winter edition they did. They said it's gonna be in Paris again, I think, so that would
So
be
so
great.
would you do it or would you just turn up?
I'll just do it.
Oh my God, that's in August. I think October.
Okay,
So basically, we got the World Games. After the World Games, that's the summer edition.
okay, sounds good. Yeah.
Oh my God. If I'm not if my body still respond well after the World Games, then probably I might join you. It will be fun. It will be fun.
Let's go.
Because the thing is that I would hate if they did what they did last year, right? Where they put all the weight classes, men and women, in one flight. the biggest GL win, and I was going up against Tiff. I was like, is that fair? I sat down thinking like, what? You want me to beat Tiff GL? Come on, you must be smoking weed. Do you know what I mean? So I will check. If I have to go up against you with your GO, I'll come and watch. I'll be there. I'll probably handle you on that meet. I'll be like, Agatha, can I handle you?
I don't like this mentality, you know,
Hold on, woman. You you want what's your GL?
something around 130.
How many people in IPF have got 130? Thank you. Thank you. Anyone who's listening, please don't listen to what Agatha is saying. She's just trying to kill me so I don't turn up in 2026 world. That's why she's trying to kill me. But anyway, do you know what? I changed my mind. If you're doing the October one, I'm coming. And I'm sure
But
I'm
if
going,
if there's like the cheese bench press again, will you do it?
yes,
Okay, that's great.
yes,
It's good
yes,
enough.
yes. And I'm coming, and that cheese bench press, I am benching it this time. I'm not. The last time I didn't bench it is because Emil, I was going up against Emil. Come on, is that fair? You know what I mean? But this time, 130 GL point, I think I got enough juice in me to beat you. But me and you, October. That's the rendezvous. Anyone who's listening in France, we are coming. Me and Agatha are
Yeah,
coming. I say that's a spirit. So if I die, Agatha, my family will send you the bill for the funeral. But I'm coming.
just get my next Sheffield check and I can
Oh
pay.
my lord. Oh man, it's so true. It's so true. Talking about next Sheffield check. I think I was talking to Ryan about this in King Relief. Next Sheffield, because you said you're not gonna be 63, you're probably gonna be 76.
Yeah,
So you're aiming to win Sheffield again. Have you ever thought how difficult that will be? Because it's easier for you to win Sheffield if you're 63, 69, because you've hit 635. If you're 63, you hit that. That's
but
mad.
like the 76 kilo total world record is currently 12 kilos lower than the 69, and it's probably gonna be even
Is it
more
12 kilo?
lower.
Is it 12 kilo lower or even lower? Because it's what? Is it 611, isn't it?
16.
616 from Carolina.
Yeah.
Wow. So
So it's easier to win Sheffield as a 76 than a 69.
wow. So you got a plan, got everything planned. But do you
Yep.
think that world record would not be pushed coming to Germany because Krenner is coming with 590? She just did the nationals, and I watched her. She was incredible in that national. So again, Carolina is something you know. I mean, you've been against Carolina. You know that you can't count Carolina out. Do you know what I
I
mean?
expect them to push the record, but I also expect Naisha to push the 69 kilo record. So
So this
yeah,
69 kilo, right? I've said this. Like I said to a lot of people, I said, look, like the 83 when I was talking about Russ, I said Russ just locked the weight class until when he came back. No one could get close to what Russ done in the past. I don't know whether he did juju or white magic or black magic. No one could get close to that 841.5 until Delaney broke it. And of course, I came in, I did what I did, and Agde did what he did, and now people are in 870s, 880s, and 900 now. Do you know what I mean? Almost the flood has opened. Do you think that you're becoming that person, that entity that almost holding the weight class down? Because if you break that 69 world record again, do you think anyone will come and do that anytime soon?
soon I don't know. As you've said before, anyone can turn up out of nowhere and just beat everyone else. It's powerlifting, so it's hard to say.
I mean, it's true. We spoke about your sister now. Your sister's hitting
Yeah,
355 at 50, what, 2 kilo. By the time your
maybe she'll
sister,
beat it.
that's what I'm saying. By the time your sister get to 69, and then we'll be talking another Sitko. Do you know what I mean? We'll just be like, why are they feeding these girls in Poland? Do you know what I mean? So the question I'll ask, of course, we had I always butcher his name, Christoph. Is that Christoph, right?
That's like an English version of his name, but
What's the Polish version?
Krzysztof.
Oh no, I can't say
You can
that.
stick with Christoph.
Yeah. So we had him as almost like not almost, but he was the poster boy of Polish powerlifting. Right? Multiple time world champion. I think he's won what? How many world he won? I think 4 or 5, something like that. Multiple time world champion. People knew him with his signature lift, that deadlift, Mr. Deadlift. That's what they call him anyway. So, do you think you've taken that throne away from him, even in Poland, with people around?
Hmm. Hard to say. Sometimes it feels like people from abroad know me more and like appreciate what I'm doing and respect my achievements more than people in Poland. So yeah, because he's still competing in the untested, and a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people in Poland care more about that.
So is it because you know what you said there, like because even in our countries, like in Britain, what I mean, even us being who we are, but sometimes it comes across like outside people appreciate what you're doing rather than people inside. Because people inside, you get people like instead of just appreciating your performance, you get people like, oh, this person is coming for you. Give him 2 years. I'm thinking like, mate, just appreciate what I've done, or appreciate what that person has done. Do you know what I mean? Because they've done it now. That person you're talking about is in 2, 3 years. We don't know where we're gonna be in 2 years' time. I always say to people, I'm not gonna wait for you for the next junction. So, for
I
me,
feel
what
like
what you gone?
so to me it feels more like people just don't know me, maybe more than that, than
Is
what you're saying.
is it in terms of people not knowing you? I just want to ask this, right? How much exposure do you get from the Polish Powerlifting Federation itself?
Yeah, not a lot.
You don't get a lot. You said.
Yeah.
You
Mm.
don't get things like our national is happening, Agata is the poster girl.
No, they
And
don't even post anything when I win meets. Like they didn't even post anything when I won Sheffield this year or last year.
are you kidding me?
No,
You don't even get
unfortunately.
articles in the local paper.
That yeah, that I do get, but not from like the national federation, I would say.
How is your
So
relationship with them then? Because sometimes if you don't give a shit about these people, they would care, is it? Because some of these federations are run by older people. Is it the
yeah,
same in Poland?
yeah.
No, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Is it so? What's your thought about that? Because one of the things in Britain over the years I've been fighting is getting away from that old mentality of powerlifting thinking. Because powerlifting be equipped and all of that. In the past, it used to be, oh yeah, I go to gym, just what you call an arena, whatever. Let's put a squat bar there and the bloody squat bar and the rack. That's it. Let's call it championship. In Britain, we fight so hard to consider these sports that we love because money is being involved because we're paying for membership. Do you know what I mean? And the volunteers, some of them are willing to help. Do you think it's because you're not close to the federation, that's why you don't get that much exposure?
Mm, maybe. But like really, hmm, they don't they aren't that involved with social media and stuff. So yeah,
But what about, yeah, talking about social media, they have got championships, right? Nationals. For us in Britain, like for instance, the fact that you go to our championship, just the backdrop of that platform, you'll have some of the best lifts in the country on that backdrop. Do you know what I mean? That to me, that's what if your federation giving back, recognizing what you're doing for the sport. You know what I mean? You are almost like you representing our nation or our federation internationally. For that achievement, this is what we give you back. That's how I see it as. You know, and me personally, because I've been on the backdrop, I think what once or twice, I'm grateful when I see things like that. And I sit there, I'm thinking, look, I get exposure I need. Do you know what I mean? For as much as I give, they give me back. So people like Poland, I expect you to be the first one on that backdrop, literally going like, you know, the fact that you don't even get mentioned when you win Sheffield is catastrophic. It's almost disgusting and disappointing. Do you know what I mean? And then you go and compete to sign a worker, they're the first one to chase you with a bloody ban because you didn't ask for a permission.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe they want you to pay tax back in the federation when you win. That's why. Because they're thinking, right, realistically, right, when they think, okay, she won £40,000, when you bring it to Poland, is that three times? But her membership, how much is your membership a year?
I don't know, because we have powerlifting clubs in Poland. You have to be a member of a powerlifting club that's under our national federation, and they pay all the fees and memberships and stuff.
But you pay to your club, right? Yeah, she doesn't
They
pay.
they just
But to be honest, you are that good. Let me just ask you: do you even pay your coaching fees to your coach? Yeah, I thought so. I thought so. Let's stop there. I thought so. I thought so. I thought so. You are that good. So look, you deserve to get it for free, right? You deserve to get coaching for free. You deserve to get a Sheffield handling for free. You know, you deserve it all. You know, and I've seen your coach is such an amazing guy. You know what I mean? Great guy to speak to. Great guy to hang around with. Is he big in Poland in terms of his coaching and all that is through you? Especially, come on, he's coached 2 times Sheffield winner and 1 time. Me and you are the same, you know. We have got one world and one what do you call it, silver. See,
yeah.
buddies. But I can't talk when you
He's
have those Sheffield trophies. Go on.
he's recently become very popular in Poland, which makes me really happy because he really deserves it. You know, he's in terms of coaching, I would say he's working as hard as I do in terms of powerlifting. So like he'll be staying up at night and he'll 3 a.m. reading papers or like some
Wow.
I don't know stuff because he thinks about a topic and he wants to learn. Yeah, he just works all the time. He's currently coaching around 80 lifters, I think.
Wow.
So that's a lot.
That's a
And yeah,
lot.
he's coaching a lot of the top lifters in Poland,
Yeah.
both in the tested and untested side. So that's really great.
How does he do for the handling then? Because he can't go handling untested if he has you as opposed to girl for his business.
He just asks other people to help his lifters.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
he's got other handlers.
You know what? Whether to me, I always say this: whether it's untested or tested powerlifting, at the end of the day, it's all powerlifting, right?
Yeah,
People that are doing untested is because they believe they get more from it. They go on the needle and they go. The good thing I like about it because people that go and do untested, they are honest with it. They go and do it. Do you know what I mean? And me, I watch untested powerlifting. I do because I have good friends that do untested powerlifting. Do you know what I mean? And I watch them think it's like to me I was like let not be a hypocrite here. If you're watching strongmen and you're talking shit about untested, what's the difference? Do you know what I mean? What
yeah,
is the difference? You look at these strongmen and think, oh my god, I'm watching the strongman, the giant life. What's the difference for you to watch John Hack? What's the difference for you to watch Dave Richardson? Do you know what I mean? What's the
yeah.
difference?
Yeah, I
You
don't
know?
I don't get this mentality. It's not like you're just gonna magically, I don't know, get a disease from them or anything like that because
To be
they're in
honest,
gear.
I'm not
So
gonna lie. Before I used to be so worried about untested. I'll be like, I'll see an untested guy. I'm not gonna say hello to you, mate. I'm sorry. Do you know what I mean? I don't know why you're gonna wipe there on my face. But the reality is like, yeah, that's idiot of me to think like that, which is I understand. It's just idiotic. But I watch it. Do you know what I mean? Again, one thing about it is I will probably be honest and sit here and say it does not impress me, right? It does not impress me. But at the same time as well, I will be a hypocrite if to say you just can't get in the needle today and add 100 kilos on your total tomorrow. It's not going to happen. These people put the work in,
yeah,
you know. And I could even say, or I can have the audacity to go and say, they even put more work into it, probably more than us that are tested. Do you know what I mean? So it's just with them, they have go that help, you know what I mean, that we don't get. You know what I mean? That's the only difference. But do I get impressed? I don't. the reason I don't get impressed is people like you exist, right? People like Jesus exist. People like Perks exist. People like Joe Boringstein exist. People like Russ. People like Keiko. All these people like Ade. All these people exist. Gustav, Emil, they exist. Do you know what I mean? This is why Untested does not impress me because Sonita is there, right? So
Yeah.
when you think about all these people, I'm thinking, okay, who is the strongest woman that ever lived? So far, it's Sonita. She is the strongest woman alive, right? Who is the strongest man? Jesus is there, and these people are tested. They are untested. These people are tested at breaking the untested record. That's why I don't get impressed, but I still watch it because you want your people, your friends to do well, isn't it? You know what I mean? And again, at the same time, to me, it's powerlifting. Regardless what it is, it's the sport. It's different help, but it's the sport. That's how I see
Yeah.
it. So, what's your opinion in all of that? What I said, because I know that in the past we spoke about you. Probably after doing IPF, when you're done, you go and test it. When you said in a podcast, it blew up. Oh, she's thinking about drugs. That mean she just tested drugs. That mean it's easy for her to be corrupted. What did you think about when all this was coming around?
I know people will just take anything to say you're on drugs. Really, it's a little bit annoying because a lot of people um will say that drugs being such a taboo is a bad thing because you know, hmm, do I see? If we don't talk about something, then I feel like it's just more problematic because one, you get less knowledge, you can't ask questions and stuff. I just don't see why this should be such a taboo thing because it is a part of the sport, whether you like it or not. We do have the untested side. We do have people who cheat. So why is talking about it a bad thing?
Yeah,
Like I just don't understand. You
yeah,
know
I
what I
agree with
mean?
you. I agree. So one thing I always said, we are a drug-tested sport. We are not a drug-free sport,
Yeah,
right? People can take and run away with that statement however they want to do. I don't care. Do you know what I mean? You know, you wanna come and test my piss every single day? Go, more than welcome. You wanna test my blood, my hair? Go and do that. Do you know what I mean? But what I'm saying is we're not drug-free sport because we've seen numerous people over the years that have failed the test, right? They've
yeah,
failed drug test. So to me, talking about it should not be a taboo.
yeah.
It
That
should be
that's
a
what I mean.
conversation to go through, to talk about. Because the reality of things, right? Again, for me to be a snitch, I have to understand what I'm snitching about. Because remember, there's that word, what do you call it? Speak up or whatever. What do they call it? Unanimous or whatever they
Yeah,
call it. Link or you grasp people up if you think someone is cheating. I can only grasp someone up if I understand what I'm talking about. If I understand what I'm seeing.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And like me saying that I might in the future want to get on drugs and compete untested, how is that equivalent to me saying that, or like me wanting to cheat in a tested federation? That's what I'm
Bec-
saying. I might go untested because I don't want to cheat, right?
exactly. Do you know what I mean? This is what I said to people. It's like, when you're cheating, there's other federation out there that allow it. Just go and do that. No one will stop you. And believe me, you'll be a world champion with maybe less kilos than what you total in IPF. Do you know what I mean? I mean, no, I'm not saying they're weak, but I'm just saying that that's a fact because I think for them it's not even about being weaker than us, but for them it's more about what's the word? It's about the population is less. They have got less powerlifters there. That's why you see their meet when it comes to these world championship and that it become almost like less entry level. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Numbers, sorry.
exactly.
That's why you're getting like less publicity, you're getting like less exposure, let's just say. And plus you don't get in the variety that we have in IPF because in IPF, like every single, like I don't know, I mean, King of the Lift is the one that has got stats on this one. I think how many countries we have? Is it what? Was it 54 or 55 or something like country
Probably
down here?
something like that.
Something like that. So when you think about it, that's different country, different federation, different country from one IPA federation going to world. You know, this is why I mean I want to throw this at you. There's a conversation that was going on with Q in the lift when I was listening about the world championship potentially having a qualifying number for the world championship, right? Only have the best of the best of world to have some sort of a qualifying numbers. What's your opinion around that?
Hmm. I don't think it would be a bad thing, to be honest, because that would just make the meet more interesting to watch. If there were less lifters but with higher numbers, and that would create this like more of a mm, it would make it more special, more, what's the word?
Yeah, make
Uh,
more special, more like valuable. You know, it will make it more. You get more exposure because people love seeing battles. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Which is I get. But what about in terms of
more
powerlifting as a
prestigious. Oh,
yeah? But what about powerlifting as a sport? Don't you think it's gonna kill this the entry level? Because the thing is that if you put, let's say, for instance, 69, 59, so 69, we pull, okay, world championship qualifying total 600, right? How many people have an incentive to get 600 to get a world? You know, you can do that in
yeah,
with your sleep, but how many people have 669?
like they just have to make those numbers achievable for more people, right? But at the same time, going to Worlds when you total like I don't know 300 kilos, that's kind of pointless, don't you think so?
Um, I would say, as a competitor, I get where you're coming from. I get where everybody's coming from. But someone that loves the sport, I think the entry to world should still be available for those nations that are still not up there. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So because
Yeah.
the more access people have, then in the future things can be different, right?
I get what you're saying. Plus, experiencing that level of competition might help them grow
Exactly. And
as
plus, like
well.
someone like if I total let's say 400 kilo as a 69 or this is just say 450 as a 69, I never get to world. Agata is my idol. I would never, and I live, let's say like I live in Papua New Guinea. I would never gonna meet Agata. Would never gonna come to Papua New Guinea and compete. The only opportunity I have is fly to Malta or whatever and meet her, and you've taken that away from me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is where I'm
Yeah,
coming from. Do
yeah,
you know what I
you're
mean?
right.
You know, because me and you go to international, we know some of the international we go in. People with me, some people expectation is not there for them to come and PRs and win. Some people is just there. Oh, I just came to have fun and meet these people I see on social media, right? And then
Yeah.
if you put that you put that entry barrier really high, and people can't get that anymore. So we're just
Yeah,
killing the sport.
actually, going back to what I said before, we don't need more meets with a limited number of competitors because we already have Sheffield and World Games where you have criteria that you need to
Yeah,
hit to qualify.
yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing that with World Games, I always said, is every 4 years. To me, when you qualify for the World Games, or I've said this to everybody, when you qualify, to me, qualifying for the World Games, don't get me wrong, we've done Sheffield. I know how Sheffield failed. I've watched Sheffield. I love Sheffield as an event. It's brilliant. SPD is doing an amazing. We both SPD. Do you know what I mean? I love what SPD are doing. No one will match that. You know, especially like I was at the squad, and then we talk about the second Sheffield. The arena where it's gonna be is crazy. Anyone who's watched the Gladiator, the UK Gladiators, that's where the Sheffield is gonna be, right? That arena is crazy. So I love that. But the qualification to the World Games to me is more prestigious than Sheffield. The only reason I'm saying that, the only reason I'm saying that, the World Games comes once every 4 years. Sheffield is every year. Within that 4 years, I can maybe qualify for Sheffield once if I try my best. Do you know what I mean? You got four opportunity to qualify for Sheffield in the 4 years. But the World Games, you only got one chance to qualify for that. So qualifying for the World Games for me, yes. In terms of the prestige, and some of the prestige and the mid directions and experience, of course Sheffield's miles ahead. You know what I mean? But to be fair, me and you will turn up in Chengdu. We don't know how it's gonna be, right? But the reality is, you got 4 years to qualify for Sheffield, right? It's 4 attempts. The World Games is one time. And people are getting to my age. I missed that one time. Maybe it would never gonna happen again. You know what I mean? This is where I classify this me like. It's not because I've done Sheffield. Sheffield is always gonna rank IHUB in terms of the experience, the mid directions, and all of that, the way they treat you, and the incentive what you get from it. But in terms of legacy, mate, you can win two Sheffield, right? You can win World Championship. If you never turned up to the World Games, or won, or competed, when you sit there, people will ask, yeah, but Agata won two Sheffield, yeah, she done one World Championship. She's the best powerlifter that ever lived. But there will always going to be someone in the background saying, yeah, but she's never competed at the World Games. She's never won the World Games. Are you actually comparing her to that person that won the World Games, the World Championship, and she won Sheffield as well? Do you know where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Because the World Game is still run. Because some nations, right? I listen to the American podcast and all of that. People go like, yeah, no one really cares about the World Games, right? No one really gives a shit about the World Games. I said, mate, it's because the only reason you're talking like that because you never stepped on the platform and compete against Agata. Right? Or you never step on a platform or compete against Jurins. If you step on that platform, then those big me, the World Game should be on the agenda. I don't care what people think.
Mm.
You know?
I feel like people feel this way about the World Games because a lot of people don't even know what it is. Like I didn't know it existed before I qualified for the World Games in 2022. So I feel like that's why people feel this way about it because it's not as popular.
Oh yeah. In terms of marketing, in terms of exposure, I think they should do a little bit more there in terms of exposing it because it's the second thing we have from the Olympics, about the
Yeah.
Olympics. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know about in Poland how it works. In Britain, we have got that World Games chat and team where every week or every other week, you know, we get news from the World Games coming in from the team that is actually looking after us to go to the World Games. I mean, things they're sending, I'm literally in the news, I'm thinking, my God, this thing is actually bigger than I thought it is. It is bigger.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It is
Yeah.
bigger. There's you know, you see the athlete village, right?
Yeah.
And then you see, again, I don't know if you've been told, you fly to the World Games, as soon as I arrive, they will take care of me until I leave. Right?
I
We
mean,
don't.
I've done the World Games in 2022, so
So you understand that better than me. You know what I mean? When it comes to Chengdu, probably we're just gonna hang on to you people that have done it already. You know, when are you flying anyway? Let me just get a date. When are you flying? Have you booked?
no. So I think our federation is like gonna get us government funding for it, so they will
Okay.
book our flights and stuff. So I don't know yet.
That's brilliant. Oh, lucky you guys. As the federation, they didn't get the government funding, but they're funding pretty much all the athletes are going to the World Games, which is really fantastic what they're doing. Because again, I don't think, I'm going to be honest out there, right? I don't think if the federation did not help us, or if any other federation around the world that can help, if they don't help the athletes, I don't think many people will turn up. Because the flight, for instance, here in the UK, the flight to Chengdu, just a normal economic, we're going by minimum £1,300, £1,300. That's a normal economic. And that's because it's a long flight. The advice is just like, oh, if you can get first class, get yourself in the first class because of the time zone, so you're comfortable. That first class is £3,500. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Who's going to pay £3,500 for powerlifting? Do you know what I mean? And then the World Games is not even like Sheffield when you come up back with a check or award, you come up with a bonus. No. The World Game, you come back with a well done. You've done well. Hopefully you can represent us again in 4 years' time. Do you know what I mean? That's what you get. This is what I'm saying. Like anyone that is doing the World Games is not a financial incentive. They're doing it because they love the sport. You know. And me, I'm going to the World Games because come on, it's a vibe. Yes,
Yeah.
when that day, when the 14 and the 15, when they say bar is loaded, we all want to get on that platform and do the best performance we ever done. But after the last deadlifts drop, May, it's vibes. Do you know what I mean? It's vibes. I cannot wait for the World Games. I really believe the World Games for us, it will probably be the atmosphere will probably be better than the World Championship in terms of like because
Mm.
you know when we go to World, right? This is how I see it. We go to World is a powerlifting World Championship. Different nations we come in to represent our nation. We come in to compete against each other. The World Games, there's so many different kind of sports. It's almost like, as I was saying this to somebody American, we have to stick together. Do you know what I mean? We are not. We are one of the smallest sports out there. So it means,
Yeah.
as teams, as lifters, even though Agata, you're gonna beat everybody else on the platform, but as soon as they say down, you have to stick together with the other lifters because like we are so small. Do you know what I mean? So this is why I'm saying that experience probably will be different from what we experience. Not on the platform. I'm talking about as individual.
Oh
We're
yeah.
gonna be we're gonna be more close at the World Games than elsewhere. Do you know what I mean? Because of I think what's gonna push it is the other sports. We'll have some sports that I probably would never heard of. Some of the sports I'm seeing there, Agatha, I've never heard of them. I've never heard
Yeah.
of them. Do you know what I mean? I'm just looking at. I'm thinking like, what the hell is that? Is it what's the other one? Is it water ball or whatever? And I'm thinking, I have to Google some of these. Do you know what I mean? So
That's probably how other people feel about powerlifting too.
true, true. I really understand. I really understand. So we just have to stick together. So yeah, the question is like, Poland, of course, is you that's qualified for the World Games, and I'm sure there's some equipped.
Yeah, we've got two equipped lifters, Zuzanna Kula and Jarosław Olech.
Oh, lovely. So you all going together, and your coach will probably be the head coach for you, and they will have a representative for the equipped as well.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Last few questions, Agatha. I know we crushed like over an hour. Again, like I always like grateful in terms of when you turn up, you give me your time because I know you do 6 days SPD a week, and now you said
7.
earlier you've changed it to seven.
It's been 7 since Sheffield.
7 days. Now I don't know what title to use this episode. Can I use a? I've increased my SPD to 7 days a week, or can I use a breaking world title does not bother me anymore? Do you know what I mean? Doesn't inspire me anymore, or can I use a? I'm not going to Sheffield as a 63. I'll go to Sheffield at 76. So these are the bombshell, my friend. These are key things that to shoot. 7 days SPD. How are you handling that load?
So it's not much different from my 6 SBDs. We've just added one session that's uh pretty light single at around 34 or 5, I would say. Usually it's percentage based, but that's where it's usually what I usually rated. And then 2 3 sets of backoffs. So that's like a super quick, super easy session to just get me prepared for my primary session. Yeah.
Wow. I found the title of the episode. It's gonna be because breaking world record does not motivate me anymore. I've increased my SPD to 7 days a week.
Okay.
Look at
I'll
that
change
title.
that.
See, that's banging title right there, my friend. Listen, I really appreciate you, and I can't wait to see you in Germany. When are you flying to Germany?
We're we're actually driving there because it's like 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours drive from where we live.
Wow,
Yeah, that's pretty close. That's closer than our nationals actually. So that's funny.
that's crazy. That is crazy. So you're driving there when?
But probably the day before it starts, so Saturday, I think. It starts on
Yes,
Sunday, right?
yeah. Start on the 8th. So okay? I'm
Yeah,
flying on
we'll
the
be there all
9th.
week. Yeah, we'll be there all week from the beginning up to the very end.
I'm flying on the 9th, and then definitely, I will definitely see you there. You know, I really appreciate your time, and good luck for the rest of the prep that you need or you don't. As you say, breaking world record does not motivate you anymore, so you don't need luck. But yeah, carry on with the 7 days SPD, and hopefully that deadlifts show up as much as the squat is there, and the bench press hopefully still on the holidays, maybe after after world, then the bench press can show up because you need that bench at the world games. A world,
Um,
you don't really need that.
I've just accepted my fate and the fact that my bench is just gonna suck up until I start bulking, because I think it's just the cut and the bench finally taking a hit.
So when you're saying this bench is taking the hits, well, what's the most you've ever benched in this prep so far?
Ah. So I think I did like hmm, but that was 1 or 2 blocks ago, 147.5 for a triple, and then I attempted 150 for a triple, but only got 2 reps. But since then, it's gotten even worse. So right now I'm repping like 130, 135. So yeah.
And then with a little bit of the magic of what do you call it, the taper. I mean, that's what, as I said on the podcast earlier, you don't need 160.
Yeah, but I hope I will get I can get 150 at least. Because if I get less than 150, then that's gonna be it's not.
I'm just gonna say it out there to those that are listening. You're actually being genuine. You're saying this because you don't want people to pity you. You're actually saying this because you're honest. Because there's some lifters out there. They talk about how fucked up the prep is going, how shit things are. But when it comes, I hate people like that because when you come on the come day, these people are blowing world record. Right? You ask them, what the fuck? How was prep? Oh yeah, prep was literally dog shit. 2 weeks ago, I couldn't even load 170 kilos. How the fuck did you score 300 kilos then 2 weeks after?
It's like that one person who says they didn't study for the test and they're gonna get like 0 points and then they get the highest grade.
Exactly. This is what literally like me when I listen to my fellow lifters going like, oh yeah, 2 weeks ago I couldn't even load 200. 2 weeks ago I couldn't even bench 150. I couldn't even dead is 300. And then on the meet day you're blowing 360. You see what I mean? So if you're talking about fucking Agata being on drugs, no, Agata is not on drugs. You're the one who's fucking on drugs. Because how can you know squat 175 2 weeks ago on a meet day you're squatting 300 like it's nothing? Do you know what I mean? So to me that just like blows me because at the moment like I will squat there 290 will feel like a house. I'm thinking, oh fuck. I know if I'm doing 390 now, in 4 weeks' time, I should be able to squat 30 kilos more. Do you know what I mean? That's what I know in my head. I'm not even saying like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go there and think, oh, 2 weeks ago I could have been squat 270. But I came here, I'm squatting 320, 330, 355. Fuck that shit. Do you know what I mean? I hate these people. I'm glad that me and you are different. You know, when we talk like your squat, your bench sucks, it actually sucks because you're only doing 135. And when I talk about my deadlift sucks, it actually sucks because I have no done top set on my deadlift. I have not done singles. I'm only doing doubles and triples, so I don't know where it is. And those doubles and triples, they feel fucking heavy. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, I appreciate you, my friend. Literally, like as I said, like I can't wait to see you in Germany. For those that are listening to us, guys, if you stay around until this time, that means you've heard everything Agata said. World record is not a motivation anymore. Just imagine you're in that level for you to come up with a statement like that. I wish one day I would be able to do it. Maybe when I'm Master 4, who knows? You know, I'll be able to do that. Oh yeah, I can do that. Master 4 or Master 2. Yes. But again, as you always, freaks always come out of nowhere. You see someone like a veteran from Iraq or whatever will come in and they start squatting more than me, benching more than me, deadlifting more than me, and then just take everything away from me. So yeah, see you in Germany, my friend. And those are listening,
Yeah.
if you got a message, send it to Agata. If Agata doesn't reply, as I always say, reach out to me. I will send it to Agata because she's a superstar. I don't expect her to answer to every single fucking DM she gets. Right?
I actually try to go through all of them, and if I see a question, I answer, unless I think to myself, okay, I'm gonna answer this later, and later I forget.
True.
If that happened to you, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to.
True. To be fair, you do 7 days XPD a week, right? So you're a busy woman. You understand? All right, people understand. On that note, see you soon, my friend.